In the early to mid-1980s, football in New Zealand was riding a crest of a wave. This was largely due to the All Whites' successful qualifications in the World Cup finals in '82. But towards the late 80s, the fans had become increasingly frustrated as the team marked one failure after another and were soon considered perennial underachievers.
One frustrated fan, Ernest Simper, became well known for his verbal attacks on the New Zealand FA.
Simper was a fervent campaigner. He wanted the New Zealand Soccer Incorporation to make significant improvements, to build on the successes of the All Whites leading up to the World Cup finals of 1982. He wanted an infrastructure that would help the All Whites qualify for every World Cup finals, not just to be content with the odd one.
Through his campaigning, Simper built up a large network of support, so much so in fact that in 1991 the NZS, under pressure from the fans, made a number of changes in response.
You know, the New Zealand Soccer Incorporation recognises that, the fans are something to grumble about, mate. We understand that. So we do hope that that the changes we've made today will start making everyone bloody happy a bit. And there's certain idiots, will stop laying on thick and give us a break, I mean, that's all I'm going to say about it today, mate. But, give us a chance. That's all I'm saying. Just give us a chance.
The changes the NZS made were just cosmetic. They were made in an effort to shut Simper up.
Ian Marshall was the coach of the All Whites. He'd invariably taste defeat more often than victory.
Simper and Marshall did not get on. Simper took exception to his coaching style and overall leadership. Simper referred to him as the arse clown, and they exchanged heated words on a regular basis.
In defiance to Simper, the NZS gave Marshall their full backing, reassuring All White fans that he would get the full assistance to help New Zealand qualify for the 1994 World Cup finals. And in preparation to the World Cup qualifiers, the All Whites toured England in February 1992.
Of course, this was during the English League season, and as a result, the All Whites were lined up against mostly reserve teams. The tour was a disaster. A 4-2 defeat against Southend, a 3-0 loss to Scunthorpe, and a 7-0 trouncing from Tranmere Rovers. Simper was furious. He wanted heads to roll, and Marshall was top of his list.
Simper argued that Marshall was an idiot and had to be replaced. Jokingly, he said that he could do a better job. In response to this, followers, sharing the same frustration, created a campaign to put Ernest Simper in charge of the national team. The fans trusted him to get things done, the way the fans wanted. The campaign captured the imagination of thousands of All White fans, and it began to gain momentum.
In the May of 1992, the All Whites were scheduled to host German club side Werder Bremen in a 3-match tri-series. The tour was arranged largely because of Winton Rufer, New Zealand's greatest football export, who was playing for Werder Bremen at the time. But what preceded the tri-series was probably the strongest demonstration in fan power there has ever been. Literally tens of thousands of All White fans declared they would boycott the matches unless Simper was put in charge for the complete series.
The NZS took no notice, deeming it a ludicrous idea. They viewed it as an empty threat.
Let's not beat around in bushes here, right? Let's be honest with each other. Fans are a fickle bunch. They're not going to cut off their bloody noses to spite their faces now, are they? Think about it logically for a second, you idiots. Just, cut out the bullshit, mate. The fans will be there on Saturday. That I'm absolutely certain of. It's just idiots, like I said before. They'll be there, mate. They will be there.
But taking the fans for granted proved to be a grave mistake. Just as they had warned, not a single fan turned up for the first game against the German tourists.
Incredibly, the fans had pulled together and demonstrated their collective power. This left the NZS with plenty of egg on their faces and a lot of explaining to do to the representatives of Werder Bremen Football Club.
Former Werder Bremen defender Gunnar Soren recalls the moment.
Die Neuseeland-Reise war für uns ein Saisonende Tour.
We went to New Zealand on an end-of-season tour, as the German season had finished. It was an honour to play against New Zealand, and more so because of Winton, a great player who had been with us for many seasons. What we witnessed in Auckland was unbelievable. Not one single supporter. The stadium was completely empty. I remember us thinking that maybe this was because of the war. Of course, it was only afterwards we discovered it was a protest. For us, this was a great relief.
The whole episode was a complete embarrassment, and the NZS crumbled. Simper was put in charge for the next game.
So incredibly, Ernest Simper, a football fan, was put in charge of the New Zealand national football team. And on the 1st of June 1992, Ernest Simper led New Zealand to an historic 2-1 victory. against Werder Bremen in front of a sellout Wellington crowd.
Das, was wir beim nächsten Spielen erlebten, war unglaublich, einfach unglaublich.
What we witnessed in the next game was unbelievable. Not one empty seat. The stadium was completely
Damals
full.
nehmen wir an, dass dieser Mann, der Simper,
I remember us saying, this man, Simper, must be very important, so we must play our best. No one wanted to lose.
aber das Geräusch der Fans im Stadion war wahnsinnig.
But the fans in the stadium were incredible. This helped New Zealand for sure.
Ganz bestimmt.
This is why they beat us.
Deswegen besiegten sie uns.
Simper also managed in the final game, a 1-1 draw. He had become the most unlikely national hero.
Kiwi soccer fans wanted Simper to carry on as manager, but Simper, who felt a point had been proven, turned his glory to his advantage, agreeing to stand down only if the NZS agreed to listen to the fans' viewpoint in the future. They did, and a new infrastructure for New Zealand soccer was born.
Marshall and Simper got over their differences, and although New Zealand failed to qualify for USA 94 in the penultimate playoff match, the team had made significant improvements. In 1998, New Zealand football fans finally had something to shout about. The All Whites beat fierce rivals Australia in their back garden to become Oceania champions. Sadly though, Ernest Simper, the man who had contributed so much to New Zealand football, was to miss this defining moment. Just months previously to the tournament, Ernest Simper had been killed in a car crash.
He was always on the road. His commitment, his passion to reach out to every football fan up and down the country, sadly, contributed to Ernest Simper's death.
He was survived by his wife and his one son.